Look, I'm live. What I mean to say is, I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Groovy. Tonight, thank you for joining me where it is the start of Evil Dead Week, right? I don't know. Is that a thing we're celebrating? I am. Last time when Evil Dead Rise came out, for some reason I got real hyped up about it and I watched all the Evil Deads and I went to a midnight screening of it and on 420. So, you know what I mean? That's memorable enough. But this one, Evil Dead Burn comes out this weekend. Probably won't go to the theater. Kids now, you know what I mean? It's a lot of work to go see that. So, since everybody's going to be talking about the Evil Dead movies, the Evil Dead franchise, Evil Dead, Ash, Ash, blah, 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 I figured I would refamiliarize myself with some of the movies leading up to the new one. So, we've previously watched Evil Dead 2 on the channel before. You don't really need to see Evil Dead 1. I mean, it's a an acquired taste. If people love the franchise, you should watch it. But otherwise, you don't really need to see part 1. You need to start at part 2 and you're fine. And then you move on to part 3, which is Army of Darkness. That's this one. The character goes from being trapped in a cabin in the woods to the medieval times. This was originally going to be called Medieval Dead. Um, Anyways, I'm going to be watching this one on HBO Max. It is 2:08 in the morning here in Eastern Standard Time. I am going to be watching this into the wee hours of the morning, as it is already the wee hours of the morning, so I'm already there. I've achieved that one, right? Anyways, before I do get started, I see my friend Patrick is here. He says, bring back the Cat House at least once a month. I'm assuming he's referring to In the House, which was a show that me and my dear buddy Larry did for a while, but I got too busy with other stuff and wasn't able to keep my Friday commitment. So if you ever want to catch those, they're in the back catalog on the channel. There's a playlist, lurking around. So, anyways, let's see here. I told Patrick, sorry, I can't. Larry wants too much money. His agent is killing me. My friend Anthony who is here and he says, welcome to Patrick. I'm assuming welcome to me. I don't know. Hi, Anthony. Nice to see you, buddy. Anyways, Patrick is at Have Cheetah Will View here on YouTube. So be sure to check out my friend Pat. I've been on his channel a couple different times, doing the watch along and an interview and a variety of other things. So, anyways, I'm going to watch Army of Darkness tonight. This is the regular theatrical cut. So, this is only an hour and 21 minutes. This movie has like 5 or 6 cuts. It's ridiculous. There's a regular one that's like 9 more minutes than this, and then another one that's like another 8 minutes longer than that. Then there's a TV cut and yada yada yada. So I'm just watching the straight up one that went to the theater, not the boomstick edition or not the unedited Army of Darkness, whatever it's called, screwhead with the brown paper bag label. Any of those. This is the good old fashioned what was in the theater, an hour and 21 minutes from 1992. So, hey, before I press play, I got to read Anthony because those are usually a minute or two to answer. Anyways, good morning, Anthony. Nice to see you, my friend. How are you, buddy? By the way, I'm almost up to 2024 in my memoirs. Congratulations, you are almost finished. And X-Men 97 was awesome, and I might get a job at AMC Theaters. And just recently got the VHS 2 years ago. And next up is Spider-Man. What VHS did you get 2 years ago? Yeah, I'm curious about the new Spider-Man as well. I'd like to check it out. I'm sure that's one of those deals I'll see on streaming. X-Men 97, I still haven't watched it. You know what I mean? I love the old cartoon, the classic one that it's based on, so it seems like I would dig it. Haven't gotten around to it though. Other than Thick Rogue, I know very little about it other than it's supposed to be nostalgia-rific for a cat like me. Anthony says, I just got unsubbed from a YouTuber and cut ties with me. Well, that is terrible. And I emotionally am punching them in the nose. But, physically, it's like, oh, that's people are people, you know what I mean? It's a problem. I don't know why they're people are people. Oh, you got the Army of Darkness VHS. That's what I assumed. I figured you were keeping it topical, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know. Anyway, speaking of Army of Darkness, thank you for bringing me back to where it belongs. I'm going to watch this now and press play on it. So those of you who are familiar with the movie can watch along with me and or can listen along with me. Hello to the folks on Spotify and whatever other podcast uh, provider you might be listening to this on. Sorry, my brain died there for a second. It happens. It's like 2:30 in the morning. What are you going to do? Yeah, so I'm going to be watching this. If you've seen it before, feel free to just, hang out, whatever. If you haven't seen this before, watch it. It's fun. There's a lot going on. We're going to talk about it for the next hour and 21 minutes. So I'm going to press play on this. This one's on HBO Max. They own the whole everything, the shebang on this. The Warner people. So Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead remake 2013, Fede Alvarez, and then the Evil Dead Rise, directed by the Hole in the Ground guy, Lee, what's his name? That guy. And then the new one, Evil Dead Burn, is in the theaters this weekend. So look how tying all this shit together, right, bro? You'll have to pardon me, as per usual. I am a horrible sinus man, so the allergies this time of year in Florida are rough on me. So if I'm a bit nasally, I apologize. I'll try to put some bass in my voice when I talk to y'all. Um, anyway, yeah, there we go. There's Universal. See, that's weird. I would assume Warner would own this because, like I said, they always have everything. They must have had some sort of distribution rights or something. Um, we mentioned earlier, I don't think you need to see Evil Dead 1. If you love the franchise and you love these movies, for sure see it. It's awesome. It didn't quite have the tone right, and they didn't have the money, and they didn't, do everything they wanted to do with it. So once it was a surprise success, they took the money from it and the accolades and the interest in trying to make more, and made a better version of one. So pretty much you can eschew one and then just watch part two, and then jump in on this one, Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness. uh, we start off here with Ash. He's in some sort of slave chain gang, and he runs through like a quick little montage up front. Sam Raimi is one of my favorite montage directors. Nobody like He does these snap zooms and these little quick things with sound effects that just like he'll condense, I don't know, 20 minutes into just there's Bridget Fonda. That's Ash's girlfriend in this one at the S Mart, Shop Smart, Shop S Mart. There's the classic. This car that just pulled up into frame in front of me. This is Sam Raimi's car, the Oldsmobile, the Delta 88 or whatever. It's in every one of his movies, much the same way Alfred Hitchcock is like in every one of his movies, and you have to like keep your eye out. Where's Hitchcock? That's how this car is. This sort of like weird, I don't know, mustard yellow. I don't know what you'd even call it. It's in Spider-Man everywhere. So now we're seeing the Necronomicon, Ex Mortis. The version here was often made into like a styrofoam, or what do you call it? Like a DVD case is what I'm trying to get at. It was a special edition DVD case that looked exactly like the version in this, and it's made out of this like spongy material. So because of that, the spongy material over time has been degrading. So either degrading, biodegrading, something. It ain't working no more. So, anyways, the styrofoam and the like squishiness of it has started to like fall apart over time. So there's all sorts of like people on YouTube showing their old, box set with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis that was all squishy and it's like falling apart. The nose and stuff is broken off. So yeah, this is just a recap. Once again, they were going to call this Medieval Dead, but they were under the impression that there wasn't really enough interest or familiarity with the Evil Dead property, or the brand. So that's why they called it Army of Darkness. They wanted to kind of get away from that because they didn't think enough people knew what the hell Evil Dead was. So they also wanted to throw in, as a lot of sequels do, you put in sort of a prologue where you show what's happened, catch everybody up in case they don't know what's going on. A lot of modern movies just jump right in, like what's up. And there's the hallmark of Sam Raimi movies. We see like this cartoon kind of like smoke thing coming up out of the like portal that sucks ash in. And it sucks ash. It when there's the Delta 88. Uh um the hallmark of his movies are they look so professional and amazing and beautiful, and then he'll do some crazy ass camera like stunt, like he'll try some fast motion whatever, or put a camera on a motorcycle. He'll try some nonsense stop motion everything, like when everybody else was getting away from stop motion because it was too herky jerky, he was all over it. So yeah, he'll have like this really beautiful, like smooth looking movie, and all of a sudden some crazy ass camera thing will happen, and you just like, a lot of folks don't even catch it. They just notice it's like bizarro and weird. It's almost like a Dutch angle or something. Oh shit! Look at these. We got folks popping in here. So yeah, basically, we've seen Ash go through his whole turmoil real quick in the Evil Dead 2, and then he gets sucked through this portal and dropped into time, and he realizes he's in the mid 1300s or whatever the hell it is. And at this point, I like it. He's starting to get gray hair and stuff, because when you consider in the first one, he shows up and he's like straight dark hair the whole way through, and then now after just like one night or two nights, whatever it is in the first or part two, he's like he's got that Haley Joel Osment Sixth Sense gray streak. Let's see here, Mr. Bones, how you doing, buddy? By the way, love the vaudevillain mustache you got going there. Right, I know. See, the thing is, the mustache is on the side. It grows into my mouth, so, like the little ones over here. So I got to either trim them or comb it out. Right? I don't know. This has become a beard grooming channel now. So what I like to do is put a little pomade in there and pull this shit out my face. You know what I mean? Get a little bling bling. Look like I'm gonna tie a woman to a railroad track. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyways, enough of that. Welcome, Mr. Bones, HBS, buddy. Uh, Bones, I'm basically stealing your idea. I'm telling everybody on the air. I've been working on intro videos the way Mr. Bones has. He's the first one I saw do it. It's basically the professional wrestling intro videos, but I've been working on some for various folks who turn up in the chat quite frequently. And I've been looking at Mr. Bones' video most of the day. So when he popped up now, I was like, hey, Bonesy. There you go. I feel like I've been talking with you all afternoon. Oh, by the way, where's as long as we're here, let's see if I can pop this up. Where is image downloads? Um, there it is. Last night I was looking for Bonesy's channel or whatever, and looking for stuff. Like I said, I was working on a video for him, and then in his Google AI thing, they mentioned me even in there, and his last night's show with Rob's Vintage Video for Jaws, which I recommend everyone you go to Mr. Bones' channel and check out. So yeah, Mr. Bones, even though we haven't talked in a day or two, I've been seeing you and dealing with you nonstop, buddy. Anyways, welcome, Bonesy. Imagine not knowing Evil Dead. I know, right? Like, at this point, it seems foolish, and it's become, a generational brand. Folks know what it is, but uh, part two, part of the reason I loved it is it felt like this grimy sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, gross, like scary movie that all my friends were too afraid to watch. Like none of us even knew it was a comedy. It was only after I got to like college age and I wasn't like afraid of things more, and you kind of look at filmmaking and understand what's going on. It's like, oh, this is like a Three Stooges show. Like, you know, there's slapstick mixed with like comic wit mixed with horrifying terror demons. It's like, I don't think that's a stew that should work, but it's delicious. Still haven't seen a session. Of course not, man. I got babies. If I got free time, I talk to you guys. I don't know. Do they have 2 a.m. movie theaters? I don't know. I live in Tampa. People get shot and murdered and shit. So I don't know if I could make it to a 2 a.m. movie. But otherwise, yeah, no, I don't know if I'd be able to check out Obsession. I'm waiting for streaming like I did everything. I'll find the glory of it at home in bed in the dark. I'll go before I go to bed. Army of Clarkness. There you go. Thank you. Nicely played, Mr. Bones. LOL. Simon Gotch style, right? You forget it. Can we all admit Bruce is one handsome fella? Bruce is the man. That's the thing with this. This is kind of Bruce's. To me, this is quintessential Bruce Campbell. Like he's the perfect sort of like self-assured douche, but at the same time, it's charming and hilarious. And he's a hero, but he's only a hero when he gets totally backed into no other choice than to be a hero. The rest of the time, he's just kind of a coward. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is his maybe his best movie, as I put in the title, because it's the most Bruce Campbell out of all his performances. I feel like this is kind of his sense of humor. Sounds cool. I can't do it. Someone might as well. Well, I think you can. I don't know. Why can't you do like how I kind of do? Just little 5-10 second bumpers that you have to upload. You can't put them into uh StreamYard anymore. You have to put them individually. I don't know. We'll see how bad I might crash and burn on it. But yeah, I've been working on that little project. I must admit, not the biggest fan of this one. It's okay, but I much prefer horror of the first two. Yeah, this one is a weird way to take the franchise. Like I say, the second one and the first one to a certain extent, both of those. The first one is sort of horror based, and then there's a little bit of comedy. And the second one is more almost like Three Stooges meets zombies kind of thing, or possessed people, whatever. The Exorcist. Um, So that by the time you get to this one, it takes it like fantasy adventure. I don't know what you would call it, but it opens it up, which is like what most sequels and things are supposed to do. You know, you're trapped in a building in Die Hard, and then part two, you need to go to an airport and get outside and run around and stuff. You get closed in. So in this one, they wanted to open up the world and have him go on a big, sprawling, epic adventure. So I sort of get it, but it's not as scary. You know, the monsters are more just action villains more than they are like things you're gonna have nightmares about. Although this part coming up where he gets thrown in the well and the scary ass things down here with him. Shout out to my man there. There's the shot of the blacksmith. I'm at. Oh, by the way, I'll give you a time cue here. It's a time for 10:45 on the timestamp. Um, The bald blacksmith you see in these parts with the inside the castle here, that's Tim Quill. He's got like a big mustache and shit. Uh, my cousin went to a horror convention and he had Tim Quill was totally cool and signing extra autographs for people and stuff. So I have a Army of Darkness mini poster, autographed, personalized from Tim Quill. Hey Don, keep something. I don't remember, but every time I see him, it's like that's my guy, the bald blacksmith, my dude. So shout out to Tim Quill for being nice. And ironically, my cousin who got me the thing, his name is Tim. So shout out to Tim, both Tims, Tim squared. Be sure to put in the comments, like Clark just did. What's your favorite Evil Dead? Do you like the silly Ash Williams stuff, even through the TV show or the whatever the series, or do you prefer the new stuff, the 2013? The 2013 is scary AF. Like if there was a movie I really wanted to give my kids nightmares or just like tell people is will bother you, like what's a scary movie? 2013 is a pretty damn scary movie. Um, Evil Dead Rise I liked more than most. You know, it I could see where they're taking it. They want to make it a franchise or a brand. So we're going to do different things with it and have different twists and, you know, almost alternate universes of this story. So to Evil Dead Rise didn't bother me. I enjoyed it. You know, I saw that one in the theater, like I said, midnight showing, so I was kind of tired as per usual, but it was a good time. I don't know. I saw it with a good surround sound, which was key to that one. There's a lot of ghost voices saying stuff while you're watching it. So here's where Ash is getting ready to fall into the pit with the scary ass monster with the inside the well here. So we're already like what 12 minutes in, and we've seen yeah, exactly almost 13 minutes in, and we've already had like numerous action scenes and people getting decapitated and blood and shit. Yet it's a comedy. You know, that's the beauty of it. Um, it is streaming. It is streaming. I love AOD. My favorite part is when he says, "I'm bad Ash and good Ash, and I'm bad Ash. You're a little good Trushu Ash." um, this is one of the things, yeah, like you say. Even when I looked it up on Google to check out the budget and stuff, they mentioned that the key to this movie is how like quotable it is. There's so many lines that are just memorable, and so many little scenes that are, you know, when he tells the little girl, "That was just kind of pillow talk, baby." So yeah, the evil witch jumps out, starts punching him in the face. It's sort of a, they wanted that, what's her name, Henrietta or whatever. They needed that thing from part two that floats around up in the ceiling and I'll swallow your soul. Once again, more Sam Raimi stuff. We're having a traditional sort of like action adventure fight thing with a monster, and then out of nowhere they go to some crazy ass fisheye lens, push in on Bruce Campbell's face, and his eyes are all like distorted and looks goofy. That's just how Sam Raimi does it. That's why it's amazing. Bruce carries this movie for sure. The rest is meh. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it because it's a tribute to Harryhausen, and it's sort of like I said, a sprawling epic fantasy adventure with zombie demons and all this stuff. And our hero is just a total jackass, but super charming. I was trying to think before this started, like what other heroes are like this, and I was going with Jack Burton, the Tick, and Johnny Bravo. So Big Trouble in Little China, and then the Tick, the what is it, Patrick Warburton or whatever, the live action one. I don't think I've watched the cartoon. But yeah, the sort of like self-assured jackass hero who's also a bit of a coward, but at the same time, handles his business when it's time to handle business. Russell is here. Welcome, Russell. Nice to see you. Um, Shout out to the Tims, right? That's what I was kind of on. Every now and then you got to give Tims their props. Give Tims their due. Have you ever seen Sisters by Brian De Palma? Finally checked it out. It was decent. That's another one of those weird ones. I own it on VHS and I've seen it on several times, and I always think I'm going to watch it this time, and I never get around to it. It's one of the few De Palma I haven't seen. Um, but yeah, I'm interested in it. Did you? I take it you liked it? Let me see. Did you mention that? Yeah, it was decent. Okay, so yeah, I'd like to give it a watch. I watched Ready or Not 1 and 2 yesterday with the missus, or whatever, the last 2 nights. Those are fun. I like them. If you haven't seen those, I would check them out. They're both streaming. I watched Primate. Have you guys seen Primate? That's not bad. I thought it was going to be dumb as hell, but I love monkey movies. I always like a good gorilla, anything. So when I heard Killer Monkey, I was like, right on. And then, I'm watching it, and I loved it. I thought it was very like genuine horror. The monkey looks bad. That's my biggest complaint. The whole thing is based on the chimp, and then the stupid chimp doesn't look quite right. Other than that, it's like, I don't know. It's good. The people trying to hide in the house from that monkey and them trying to outsmart that damn monkey. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Oh, and then me and Mrs. Night Owl watched Nope today. So yeah, we had finished up the Jordan Peele trilogy. She hadn't seen Nope yet, so we watched that one, especially since we were on a killer monkey kick. Um, Also, I watched Fall recently. You guys seen Fall, where the two women go climbing up the big like light tower post thing, and they're like 2,000 feet up in the air, and then of course it's basically like Frozen, the ski lift movie, not the Disney movie, where they're trapped up on the ski lift in the storm. These people are out in the desert, up in the way up high. So if you're afraid of heights, it's a good horror movie. Um, I watched The Devil in Silver, the terror show that's on AMC Plus. It's a show called The Terror, and then every season is a new show. So it's a kind of anthology series, I guess. Mr. Bones had recommended I check it out, and we were looking for something to watch to take a couple days. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was alright. Like I didn't love it, but there was a lot of it I was real into. It's very Stephen King. If you like Stephen King, it felt like some Stephen King stuff. Russell wants to know the timestamp. I am currently at 17:45. So yeah, Russell is the YouTube master. If I was checking out his page earlier today too, and if you need to find a good movie on YouTube, he has a whole bunch of playlists of awesome stuff to watch. So be sure to check out my friend at Russell Madison B4GH1H. You need to check out Lee Cronin's The Mummy. That's what I was. Cronin was the cat I couldn't remember. Oh, we also watched. Speaking of Lee Cronin, we watched A Hole in the Ground. My kids actually stumbled in and watched it all with us. Um, Speaking of that, they also watched Undertone. We'll get to Undertone in a minute. A Hole in the Ground, Lee Cronin. So because of that, me and the missus were going to watch The Mummy. And with all the Lee Cronin's the guy that did Evil Does Rise, and then he also did The Mummy this in 2026, and it was apparently very much like an Evil Dead movie. So a lot of folks that's sort of their review of it. Here's the classic. Speaking of quotable lines, he holds up the shotgun and he tells all these primitive screwheads this is his boomstick. S Smart's top of the line. Shop smart. Shop S Smart. And he says this sweet baby was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I used to live there for a while. Fun fact. So see, Evil Dead just runs through my veins, even though even the shirt. I intentionally put the Ash shirt on. So pardon me if I show too much chest. It's hot AF in Tampa. Shop smart, shop S smart. Got that? Anyways, yeah. So I heard The Mummy was a lot like an Evil Dead movie, and I've been meaning to check that one out. It's on my to-do list. I watched Undertone. Also, that's what The Mummy and Undertone are both on HBO Max. So when I was going through Max for stuff to watch, um, sorry, that's the part where the evil Deadite version of the witch in the well pops up, and she's extra. Um, but they do a lot of hero shots in this. I keep getting caught. Like the camera helps Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell the whole time. Like they give him consistent hero shots to remind the audience this is the main dude right here. Even though a lot of times he just acts like a selfish jackass, which is why he's awesome. So yeah, need to check out the Mummy. Undertone, like I was saying, didn't really dig it. I could see how I would have liked it if it was quiet, all super. Whole house was, completely. It's about a podcaster who gets in, goes on a thing where they find a whole murder mystery that involves, the supernatural or whatever. So a lot like Pontypool. It's all a lot of like theater of the mind, someone talking into a microphone like I am now, but they unfold a whole story about this, whatever Blair Witch kind of thing, and it's only two people are on screen the entire movie. So I didn't really dig it. It reminded me more of Skinamarink than Pontypool. But I don't know. If you saw Undertone, let me know what you think. A lot of people loved it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. Jack and shit, and Jack just left town. Best line ever. Come get some. Love. Have you seen both Funny Games? No, I saw, oh boy, what was it? The original, I believe it was. And then I haven't seen the updated one. I love Blowout with Travolta. That's my favorite De Palma. Yeah, I that was one of the first ones I watched as a kid, De Palma movies. And then later Body Double because that was around the age I was, and then later on, um, Carrie. I almost said Christine. Sorry, Stephen King. So yeah, Carrie. Later on, I came into that, and I even as a kid, I was just like, these movies look alike. They have a weird like two things going on at once because De Palma's whole split screen stuff. But yeah, Blowout is amazing piece of film. I was actually speaking of Blowout. Now that it's all past and gone, about a week ago, I was an ear witness to a shooting, well, an attempted shooting, whatever. One of the neighbors got in an argument with another neighbor and pulled out a gun and fired it into the air. But when a dude who pulls out a gun, you have a tendency to kind of like not stare at him. So, I was not looking at dude, trying to make sure that he wasn't going to be pointing anywhere in the direction of my house or me. So, the police came and they were like, what the gun look like? Blah blah blah. I was like, I didn't see it. I know better than to mind. I mind my own business. So I was like, but if you need an ear witness, and I was reminded of Blowout, I was like, oh shit, I'm John Travolta all of a sudden. If you haven't seen Blowout, it's about a guy who overhears a murder with audio equipment. So he's an ear witness, not an eyewitness to a crime. The monkey is a dude in a suit, practical. Yeah, it's a little person, but the mask itself, I hate CGI. They overdo it, and they never get they never get like the movement right, and like the primate movement looks amazing. You can tell it's a little person, and or midget, whatever word we're using nowadays. I get lost. In there, but the face, the mask. I've seen better masks at Halloween, Spirit Halloween. Did you like Nope? Nope is interesting. Yeah, me and the missus were discussing it, what I think it means, and all this stuff. Um, to me, it's a movie about cameras and people performing in front of cameras, and getting the how much they want attention, they're willing to die for it, and they get sucked up and eaten up by the whole thing. Um, so I don't know. Maybe we'll watch the Jordan Peele movies sometimes on here. I've been meaning to Get Out at some point because that's an interesting movie to talk about with anybody. Um, but yes, I enjoy Nope. I enjoy Us. I enjoy Get Out. They're all weird and cool in their own way. They're not my favorites, but they're all very interesting. They're highly rewatchable. I'm sorry. Peel done making movies, it seems. Yeah, I think his most recent was him, but it wasn't. He didn't direct it. He produced it, and it got killed. Um, he also was doing that Twilight Zone show that he produced, and he kind of played the Rod Serling role on. Um, but I don't know. He's kind of like he was the darling there for a minute, and I don't know. He sort of stalled around Nope, and then since then, other people have kind of jumped into his spotlight. But I enjoy him. He's a smart director. He's a good writer. Weird, but yeah, I don't know. We may have to get to those sometimes. Speaking of getting to those sometimes and other films that we've watched on the channel, I encourage you to like or subscribe and all of that in whatever podcast or you're watching this on or listening to this on. And otherwise, you can watch us live and get the whole back catalog here on Night Owl Movie Talk on YouTube. It is currently 2:36 in the morning. That's all. That's the good thing about these hour and 21-minute movies. I always complain about movies being too long, but this one, perfect. Um, So yeah, I don't know. It seems like he is done. I could also see him trying to move into a producer role. He seems to be mimicking M. Night Shyamalan's career a bit. Like at one point, M. Night kind of lost his luster, and then he produced some films like Devil and some other stuff, the Elevator movie. Um, so it seems like maybe he's moving into that, and then he'll come back and try to do some stuff. And I don't know. Hopefully, if he has a career similar to M. Night Shyamalan's, it's not anything to be embarrassed of. M. Night, pretty damn good. Weird. Movie trivia. Who are Castor Troy and Sean Arthur? Face off. Um, yeah, speaking of Face Off, I put on the channel in the post section. Like I said, feel free to subscribe on YouTube. In the community section, I often post different surveys and questions, and I asked who you like better, Travolta or Cage, because they're very similar to me at this point, right? They're both sort of wacky, but they're sort of respected, serious actors, but they're also sort of nuts. So they've had very similar career trajectories. So, who do you like better? I'm a Cage guy, but Travolta's right there. Some of his movies, like what's the one where he's the moose? I can't remember that one. Yeah, I don't know. Travolta's some weird ass movies too, man. But who you like better? Feel free to put in the comments or go to my page and find that poll and answer. I believe last time I checked, Cage was beating Travolta like 75-25. It's all right. Now watch Widow's Bay with the missus. Yeah, I think I need to watch. Is that one on Apple or is that the one on Netflix? Um, we still need to watch The Burrows. We were thinking about buckling in and watching The Sopranos. Both of us had seen most of the series, but not all of it in order. So we were thinking about buckling in for The Sopranos for the next month or so and see if we could crank that out. So here they're sending him off, and we're back to the movie I should be talking about. My apologies. So Bruce goes off on this adventure. Ash, he's sent off by this sort of Merlin the magician wizard guy, and he tells him, you're gonna have to say Klaatu Barata Nikto, whatever. It's from the day the Earth stood still. It's about this, you know, guy, alien lands on Earth, and he comes out with a giant robot, and he tells everybody, like, you guys are going to have to learn to get along and have peace on Earth, or my robot's going to F everybody up and destroy everything. And then the dude who delivers the message end up getting shot. So there's no way for him to like tell the robot not kill everybody. So at least that's the basic quick while I'm watching Army of Darkness version of it. And to stop the robot, you say Klaatu Barato Nikto or whatever. So that's what he's supposed to say, but then he gets to where the book is, or he or the graveyard, and he misremembers what he's supposed to say, and sort of brushes past it. Instead of making the evil go away and be stopped, he ends up summoning it, and the whole armies of dead, thus the army of darkness, arises. So there, now I can go back to talking about my silly stuff. Has anyone seen Original Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard? Any good? It's if you're into B movies, that's one of those that was on VHS, and the cover looked so ridiculous and cheap. It's like I gotta rent this one. Um, yeah, ridiculous and cheap is a good way to describe it. But Clint Howard's so weird and creepy that he holds a horror movie kind of by looking the way he does. Um, it's decent if you're a fan of horror history and you like catching up on the stuff you never saw and you've only heard about. Give it a watch, but a lot of modern audiences. I wouldn't tell my nieces to watch Ice Cream Man. Uh, let's see here. It's I, Clarkness. That was pretty much my review. Bruce and Sam grew up in my area. Oh, you were in Michigan as well. Yeah, they when you look at Bruce Campbell's IMDb or whatever, like the first 30 or 40 films on his whole thing there are all short films, pretty much with Sam Raimi. Um, and then Evil Dead, the first one, is pretty much his first major movie. He had like a cameo where he's riding a bike in some flick. Okay, here's where he's holed up in this windmill, and it's sort of this Don Quixote sort of metaphor thing or whatever. But it's a classic. He runs up to a miniature and goes inside. It looks awesome. And then now he's in there trying to light a fire, and he sees himself in the mirror, and we have the next level version of the what happened in Evil Dead 2, where he's looking into the mirror and then he grabs it and fights himself and yada yada. Here he breaks a mirror, and each shard of glass, the little Bruce comes out. And we have these tiny little miniature Bruce's just like doing cartoonish antics with him. It's great. But once again, Sam Raimi shit. Like he's doing this really cool, interesting, storytelling thing, but some of the composite shots look a little wonky. Some of the lighting is just not quite right. Like his ideas are bigger than his abilities to pull them off sometimes. That's kind of the charm of it. Yeah, like, I can't believe he was garish. The audacity of Sam Raimi to try these crazy ass shots and weird, special effects. So yeah, this is the famous scene where he's fighting the little tiny hymns. Anyways, back to Ice Cream Man. You have Ice Cream Man on DVD. I think I might as well. I was trying to remember if I have it on DVD or VHS. It's a fun watch. Eli Roth is making one called Ice Cream Man, which is weird because I guess it isn't a remake, so he just stole Clint's title because he wanted to do a sequel to his. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing because folks are often mistaking that it is, a sequel or some sort of redo or whatever. It just, you can't copyright titles. That's one of the things I often complain about with movies is you can have a movie like I mentioned Frozen earlier. There's Frozen people trapped on a damn snow ski lift in the middle of winter in a blizzard, and then there's Frozen with Disney, and it came out in like the same year or whatever. Um, so you can't copyright titles like that. You can trademark them and the logos and specific fonts and stuff, but the idea that you can have 8 different movies called Kaboom, it's like it's just what are you gonna do? Bones, do you have a favorite horror movie? Yeah, Bones, what is your favorite horror movie? That's a good question. I'm never good with that question, but my Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is a fave. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Dream Warriors. Good choice. The Man with the Screaming Brain with Bruce Campbell. Um, I don't know if I've seen that one. I've seen like most of Bruce Campbell's larger roles, obviously, but then even some of his weird ones, like Menno's Mind, I think it's called, something like that. Um, he turns up in TV so much, Briscoe County or whatever it was called, Briscoe Jr. Um, he uh what is it? They call me Bruce. No, is that what it's called? Something. Well, in fact, let's just jump to everybody's favorite part of the show where I look up someone's IMDb. Watch people just don't get trampled, everybody leaving the stream at once. Let's see. Like I mentioned, his first movie that he did was It's Murder in 1977. He's just police officer on bicycle. And like the other 20 movies are all just shorts. Curse of the Werewolf, blah, blah, blah. So I'm guessing that's Sam Raimi stuff or college stuff. And then his first real movie is Evil Dead in 81. Um, and then going back, Bryce Chapman, Crime Wave. I've never seen Crime Wave, and I always want to. That one is uh, uh, directed by who is it, Ethan Cohen or something like that, and then it's like written by Sam Raimi, or it's written by the Coens, directed by Raimi, whatever. It's all people I love involved with it, and everything I've heard about it is it's not very good. So now here's the part where the two-headed Bruce is fighting himself. It's pretty good. Like some of the antics look like what's the one with Rosie Greer and Raymond Burr, whoever the hell that is, the man with two heads or something like that. Um, Image file, where is Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I'm not good at this. Yeah, this stuff. The him with the split body. It's fun and cool and interesting, but yeah, whatever. Nancy Allen was a babe. Yeah, Nancy Allen's an interesting choice. She's in a lot of De Palma's movies. They must have got along early on, and then she just was around. She was popular at that time. She was in what 1941, two, whatever that damn Spielberg movie is, um, and a variety of other things. Hello, I'm not listening. I mean looking. Get Out is fantastic. Yeah, I enjoy Get Out. It's a wild ride, a lot to discuss, a lot of stuff going on, with symbolism as well, just a straight kind of cool sci-fi, Twilight Zone movie. I think Get Out is the best one. Us is weird. Nope is okay. Yeah, Us is weird, but Us is kind of genuinely scary in some certain parts. Like the whole stuff where um, you know, he they look out the window and they see the family and they kind of look and they're like, it's us. Like, and then you see the weird mutated version of each one of them, and you kind of think, what would the horror version of me be if it came for me and stuff? So there's a lot of cool stuff in Us, and like the little pyro kid that's once again like a monkey. Um, all of that stuff is just, I don't know, the Lupita Luongo or whatever her name is. I can never say it right. I apologize. She with the scratchy voice and like, I don't know, that movie's got a lot of eeriness to it. So I enjoy Us more than the average person. I might enjoy Us more than Get Out. It's close. Get Out is obviously a more important film, but Us is probably a little more creepy on Halloween time. And Nope is just, yeah, that's a weird Twilight Zone horror mashup thing. Nope is the last movie he directed, I think. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything since. Funny Games is fantastic. I agree. Shamalama Ding Dong. Yeah, I enjoy M. Night, especially the Unbreakable Glass, whatever, that whole universe. And then Sixth Sense is amazing. That's one of the best horror ghost stories ever made. And then I like The Visit. Have you guys seen The Visit? It's like when you hear found footage right away, you're like, ugh. But it's about these kids who go stay with their grandparents, and their grandparents are like, I don't know, possessed by aliens or whatever. And then the story evolves, and you figure out what's going on with them. But it's pretty crazy and cool. I enjoy it. So hit it. Bone says Cage over Travolta. That's what I mean. I was surprised. I thought it'd be 50-50. A lot of people dig Travolta. He had a real renaissance after Pulp Fiction, and then he's been just doing anything they'll offer him since. I'm not a nasty fuck. I'm an incredibly nasty fuck. Right. Sopranos is my favorite. Yeah, I remember loving it, but her and I have been watching all the great shows. Me and the missus have been, clipping them off, making sure we get Game of Thrones and Lost and Walking Dead and all of them. So of course, Sopranos has to be in there. Out of what I just mentioned, what else do you think is on the pantheon of big important shows that everybody should watch? I hear Mad Men is great. Never had the patience for it. I've tried season one like 3 or 4 times, and I just keep falling asleep. I hear it doesn't get good till like season 2 or 3. Um, Ozark was fantastic. Breaking Bad was fantastic. Better Call Saul, excellent. Mr. Robot is perfect. I recommend you watch Mr. Robot if you're looking for a good show. That's awesome. Um, so now here he gets to where he's supposed to say the magic words, and he's got 3 Necronomicons. And this is slightly different than the one I mentioned that's made out of the squishy styrofoam that falls apart. Watch Burroughs and Widow's Bay. Put that mob shit on hold. I've been wanting to watch Burroughs, but see, the way her and I often do it is we watch a lot of horror. So we like to mix in something to cleanse the palate, as we often refer to it. So, we'll watch something just totally gruesome, and then we'll mix in something sort of entertaining and moderate, twist, thriller, whatever. And then that way, when the horror comes back, it's extra, oh shit. So the first book he opens is like it opens up a whole portal and sucks him in, like pulls off his arm, and I don't know. Bruce is just up to Bruce shit. Team Cage for sure, but I watched Phenomenon the other day, and he's a great actor. Love Travolta, and Look Who's Talking also. That comment was brought to us by @Ben Grimm, up all night. Welcome, my friend Ben. Ben, one of my favorite folks to drop by, always super knowledgeable and cool. Uh, knows all sorts about movies. So yeah, I agree pretty much. Look Who's Talking also. Yeah, he is sort of the funny straight man in that silly situation. Bruce gets all the good lines, obviously. Here's classic. I keep mentioning Raimi Spork. More Raimi Spork right there. The thing where he's pulling on his face and making it all long and shaking it up and trying to, get the cartoonish look off his grill. All that it's not quite perfect. So it bounces you out of the movie just a little, but it's almost like a good way. It reminds you that Sam Raimi's there doing what he's doing, but it, puts the movie narrative on how like it's hard to suspend your disbelief while you're watching a Sam Raimi movie because so much crazy stuff happens. Yeah, Travolta. I mean, Travolta's resume, you can't go wrong with, Saturday Night Fever and Grease and all that in his early career. And then, the blowout we mentioned earlier with De Palma. Um, and then Pulp Fiction obviously reinvigorates him, and he does like, what's the one? The John Woo one on the train, Broken Arrow. I was drawing a blank on it. He does that, and he does all these sort of just weird, oddball. I think he does like Hairspray or whatever, the remake of it. Um, I think he played the divine role actually. Um, yeah, his career is just nuts. He'll do some that are like, I can't believe John Travolta's in this movie, and then he'll just turn up in some, Oscar nominated whatever. Klaatu Barada. Yeah. That's the thing about his charm, as I mentioned earlier. He's an unlikable character. On paper, this shouldn't work. Only Bruce Campbell can really make this work. Apparently, uh, Kurt Russell can too with Jack Burton. Patrick Warburton later on is the descendant of this. But yeah, this ability to just be like a irredeemable creep at every turn, like selfish, cowardly, foolish, like overly confident to the point where it makes him extra dumb. But it's just fun to watch him go through his stupidity. And then eventually, when the moment has to happen, he makes it happen. That's his charm. Have seen all the Sopranos of DVD. That's the thing. I own like the first 4 seasons on box set, I think, on DVD, and then after that, like I watched bits and pieces here and there, and then I made sure to see the finale. But I've never watched them all the way through, like on a binge, where you really notice the character arcs and stuff. I was watching them week to week back in the day. Vado nicotine, LOL. See. I finished Burrows the other day. It's like Stranger Things with old people instead of kids. Yeah, there's been talking about it. I think it's apparently been canceled. Maybe the Burrows. Um, Another one that's on Netflix that's good is called Archive 81, and it got canceled too, or at least they said they're not bringing it back. And that's another cool one. I don't know. It's interesting to see. It's all over the damn place. But it's got a haunted building and an old school, a dude who's restoring old VHS tapes, so he's like watching the past, and it's interesting. It's cool. Um, I need to watch Widow's Bay. Where is Widow's Bay? Is that on Netflix or is that the one on Apple I keep hearing about? Like I say, Widow's Bay. How generic of a title is that? I can't really wrap my head around which one that is. They can take away our lives, but they won't take away our freedom. Is that William Wallace? Love Braveheart. Ah, look at me. I know my William Wallace. Um, I have a this poster that is usually hanging around with my kids. They always are fascinated by it. It's 101 movie quotes, and then in the bottom, in like tiny fine print, you could see what character said it in what movie. So sometimes they'll just come to me with a movie quote and ask me what character, what movie, and they're always amazed that I know William Wallace from Braveheart. It's like, yeah, that's an easy one, bro. Clint's is a killer ice cream man. Roth's is turning kids into psychos, and it looks like weapons. Oh, okay. So maybe like kind of yeah, weapons, the stuff kind of mix up, mashup. Mini Me, she's LOL. Comes out August 7th. We'll check it out. Bruce did a fun TV show of Twister called Tornado, and I really liked. I didn't know that. Is that a Sci-Fi Channel one or whatever? Mini Me Ashes, LOL. Yeah, yeah, the little tiny ones. Speaking of Ash, yeah, he's in the graveyard, and here's where he's getting attacked by all the little skeleton hands coming out, and it's super cheap. It's like a throwback to Ray Harryhausen, which a bunch of this movie's a tribute to Ray Harryhausen. But whenever like Halloween comes around and people have like the skeleton arms coming out of their front lawns or whatever, I can't help but do the Ash and like walk by. I'm like I'm all about to get attacked. The Visit and Devil are good. Yeah, I enjoy both of those. I gotta catch up. I'm not back on this not Shyamalan stuff. Long live William Wallace, right on. Mr. Robot. Yeah, Mr. Robot's my jam. Ben always gets it, man. Ben always gets it. Some of my faves are Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, and Entourage. I I watched all of Entourage and I enjoyed it, but it's a lot of like inside Hollywood stuff. And then in hindsight, a lot of folks think it's real like frat boy and douchey, and I understand that, but I enjoy this. Um, but it's fun and silly. I enjoy the characters, but um, what do you call it? Sons of Anarchy. I've watched maybe the first 3 seasons of, and I never got to the rest of it. That's another one that's on our to-do list. She was down with that one because we watched Lost, and Katie Seagal was in there, Peg Bundy. So whenever she would see her, she's like, "Oh, that's what's her name from Sons of Anarchy." I'm like, "That's Peg Bundy. What are you nuts?" Just had to do the live chat trick when he highlighted you, Ben. What was the live chat trick? I missed like 4 comments, but scrolled up. Oh, gotcha. Funny Games 1988, Funny Games 2007 by same director. Oh, I didn't realize that. Was that one of those deals where the first one was released, non-US, and then they had to make a US remake? Widow's Bay feels like a Stephen King story. I guess it won some awards. It's on an island and feels like the little town in Needful Things. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. I felt like Devil and Silver was very Stephen Kingish. Ice Cream Man is what happened. Is what Weapons should have been. Oh, you take that back. Weapons is awesome. Ash's Mini Me's. I got you. Hello, Echo Zero. Cha cha cha. Welcome, my friend Patrick Echo Zero, the awesome No More Monsters. Hello, Echo. Am I caught up now? What is this? Pop out chat? I can pop you guys out? Wow, I didn't know that. I think I am all caught up. And there's my son in the hallway. He scared the hell out of me. We were talking about weapons, and I turned left, and there's my boy in the hallway. I thought I was about to be attacked by a child. Children are scary. I was supposed to talk about it when we watched Children of the Corn. I put it in the commentary that children are just kind of generally scary. But yeah, every now and then when you're minding your own business, you turn, there's just a little silhouette there staring at you. So now here he's back. Ash is back, and he's kind of explained, all right, I screwed this up. And this one main night with these awful bangs, he looks like the lead singer of like a Iron Maiden tribute band. He looks like he was auditioning for a reboot of Spinal Tap. Oh, and there's Tim Quill. He's so sad. Shout out to the Tims. Go to bed. Go to bed, son. It's late. It's 3 in the morning, you goofball. Go to bed. Why are you up? Go to bed, son. I love you. All right, so there you get to see fathering at its finest. Little Howl Hoot. Mr. Bones says hi, Nino. He says hi, Uncle Bones. Um, I've never seen Weapons. I hear it's like The Children. I've been meaning to watch The Children. I think I did watch it, but it was one of them. Like I said, that's the night owl gig, man. Sometimes I'll put stuff on when I watch movies every night before I go to bed. So I'll put one on, even though I'm a little bit more tired than usual, and it'll be kind of a blur. Um, there's what's it called? It's What's Inside or something like that. It's like a horror movie, but it's also about people who take some sort of drug or whatever, and they're able to get inside each other's bodies. But it's a bit of a mystery thing. It tries to be sort of that horror comedy thing that's real popular now with Companion and a variety of other things. But I swear, I had to like have hypnosis to be reminded I watched that movie. I saw it in my IMDb ratings. I was like, I didn't watch that. And then I had to read about it. I was like, oh yeah, I did watch this. Never mind. So now here the Deadites from the sky come. Once again, Sam Raimi stuff. This is bad compositing. It looks fake as hell, but somehow way more real than CGI. And then the flying, yeah, that looks terrible. Where he scoops her up and it's stop motion and claymation with wires. You're asking a lot of 1992. The Children, the Ghost House movie. I think that's what he's talking about. Or isn't there one? Isn't there like a foreign one, like from maybe early thousands? Oh goodness, or is that the Orphanage? Oh man, I can't ever remember anything. That's why I said titles be screwing me up because they're so vague and stupid. So there, his woman got snatched. Amidst all the chaos, this demon comes swooping in and snatches up Embeth Davidtz. I think he calls her like Sheila or something, and then just flies off with her. So here's the Ray Harryhausen stuff we were talking about. Ray Harryhausen was this old, I believe he's a director, but he's also like this like special effects genius, man. And he's known for like these like old Sinbad movies and Jason and the Argonauts and things like that. Like he's the stop motion master, especially at making things like skeleton moves. Have you ever seen like the old movies where like a man's sword fighting a skeleton soldier, and it's like, wow, they did that back in the 60s or whatever. So yeah, Harryhausen's sort of the master, and then his special effects descended into the key people from the 80s. Um, uh, what's his name from the damn thing? Rob Bottin, whatever. And then K and B, and then Tom Savini and all them. They're all kind of descendants of Harryhausen. So there's these skeleton army people moving all slankily and doing stuff, but it looks so much better than CGI. So now the army of the dead has kidnapped all their women. And the leader of the army of the dead, the evil Ash, with the he looks like kind of like the Skeletor version of, he got like this bone helmet and his face is all disfigured. He's kind of forcing himself upon Ash's lady there, at least for smooch purposes. I believe this isn't PG-13, is it? No, this is what's oh wow, look at me. I also looked up the Army of Darkness comic books. Did you know there's a whole Army of Darkness comic books? There is in most of these popular franchises, but like it's not just Ash doing Ash stuff in the comics. It's like him meets Archie, and like he meets the whoever, um the Cowsills or whoever, um the Supergirl. Actually, when I'm looking, who else does he meet? Army of Darkness, Forever, Army of Darkness. Ash saves Obama. Archie versus Army of Darkness. Mm, Army of Darkness meets Darkman. Army of Darkness with Archie again. Ash versus Army of Darkness. There's a whole series of Archie versus Army of Darkness. Um, Kiss meets Army of Darkness, because of course they do. Um, who else we got? Lots of Archie. Wow. These must have been a hit. Marvel Zombies meets Army of Darkness. That sounds good. Um, yeah, a whole bunch of Marvel Zombies. There's I don't even know what that is. Um, yeah. So, anyways, there's a whole series of Army of Darkness comic books that are out there floating around, if you can believe it. Strange as that is. Um, there's my guy Tim Quill, and there's what's his name? The other Raven, Raimi, Ted Raimi. He's got a terrible wig on. So here's where he kind of rallies the troops. And he's looking badass, though. He's got the metal hand, and then he's got the cape flung over his shoulder. But he's got such a weak little army because everybody else has been destroyed by the Deadites thanks to his stupidity. Here we see. mm, Here's the army of darkness, literally, as we mentioned. And here we see after evil Ash is kind of made out with the old girl. He's like, I'd be bad, but I feel good. After he makes out with his woman, she sort of turns into the lady on the cover of Night of the Demons. Like she looks almost exactly like that. The weird sort of black witch queen. They also have one of those in what's it called? Army of the Dead, the Zack Snyder movie about the zombies in Vegas. Like they have one of the exact same thing. That woman looks exactly like the woman on the cover of Night of the Demons, the original Night of the Demons, not the remake from the thousands. I hate the remake world. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at right now with the Army of Darkness, and we're seeing the classic Sam Raimi snap zoom stuff where he like does these little montages, but they just go by real fast, and you see, they're taking the engine out of the classic Delta 88. He's teaching Merlin here about physics, how to make gunpowder. Can't go wrong with Raimi. He's a master director. Yeah, he hands him a little pouch of gunpowder, and then Merlin holds it over a candle to get a look at it, and Ash like has to like push his hand away, like you dumbass. Oh, hey, see, Stacy's here. Where are we at? Harry, what? I think we're talking about Harryhausen, sir. Let's see here. It didn't say when you started. Thanks from Stacy. Oh, yeah, this was a 2 a.m. And of course, I usually take my sweet time. I like to make sure I use the bathroom and get a drink and everything. Speaking of that, I've had a cold beer sitting here the whole time and I forgot. Thank you for showing up, Stacy. I would have forgot otherwise. And thank you. I mentioned at Acres of Movies is here, Stacy. Nice to see you. Glad you could be here. Are you a fan of Army of Darkness and these Evil Dead movies, Stacy? I know you're more thoughtful. You appreciate all mainstream movies, but I know you like more thoughtful movies than this silliness. Lenora, Child's Tale of Supernatural is very underrated, unfamiliar with it. This was released the same day as Matinee Matinee. Do you like Matinee? Yes, I do. Is that the John Goodman one about, oh God, what's his name? Um, the guy who made The Tingler and all that. Why am I drawing about William Castle? Is that who that one's about? I always forget. There's a bunch of those like nostalgic theater movies that came out, like Welcome to Pleasantville and a variety of other ones. They're all kind of a little bit takeoffs on Purple Rose of Cairo and other things, but Matinee, and then there's another one that's just like Matinee. I can't remember the damn name of it. The Deadite Captain is Bill Moseley. Is that who it is? Okay. Yeah, the evil Ash where he's got like the blue thing. I was trying to figure out who was underneath the makeup there. Don and Al Lucard team up. I'd be interested in working with Al. I always enjoy him. Me and him are into a lot of the same stuff. He likes horror movies and the Misfits and wrestling and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I would definitely like to work with Mr. Lucard sometime. Al's good people. Folks are saying hi. Ted Raimi and Shocker. You can never go wrong with Ted Raimi and Shocker. I have one where Ash teams with Obama. Yeah, there you go. See, yeah, you heard me. They have an Obama one. Um, I have what is it? Evil Dead. No, it's Army of, or no, Jesus Christ. Escape from New York meets Big Trouble in Little China. So it's Snake Plissken and Jack Burton. All right, so once again, we're seeing lineups of the Army of Darkness. But really, all this stuff is dope because this is all the stuff I love about Game of Thrones. The cross hybrid sort of like sword and sandals gladiator crap mixed with zombies and deadites and magic and all sorts of gross violence. Bill Moseley, nice at conventions. But yeah, I met Bill Moseley once too. Very sweet man, very cool. His Instagram is jam packed with him always being nice. Bruce Campbell wrote a comic book reboot of Sergeant Fury for DC called Sergeant Fury versus the Army of Dead. I have the whole run. I didn't know they made that. Yeah, I believe Sergeant Fury was around when I was a kid. I never really read it because I wasn't into war comics, but which is weird. I take that back. I was into GI Joe, A Real American Hero, and any other war comics weren't really my thing. I never even really, yeah, any of those. There was like I can't remember. There's a whole bunch of them, but I'm drawing a blank because I wasn't into them. Bill Moseley played the victim in The Tortured. I didn't know that. Isn't Bill Moseley also uh, Chop Top um, and an old buddy from Devil's Rejects? Love Jason and the Argonauts in the cinema when it came out. Such a classic. Didn't Never saw it in the cinema. Yeah, I've heard people complain that he did crash zooms and send help. That's what he's known for. It's like asking Tarantino not to put feet in his films. My wife's gonna love you for that, Ben. Um, yeah, I didn't like Send Help as much as I was hoping. I really enjoyed Drag Me to Hell as far as like non-Evil Dead properties that he did. Darkman is very much, even though it's not Evil Dead, it's kind of in the same thing. That same tone is all throughout. But then sorry, this is the siege on the castle. Like I mentioned, the Game of Thrones stuff always intrigues me. Um, uh, uh, Drag Me to Hell and then Send Help. I didn't like Send Help as much as Drag Me to Hell, but it was entertaining. It was fun. I had just got done watching Lost, as I mentioned, because that's one of the classic shows. And when you watch like 2 months of Lost or a month and a half of Lost, and then all of a sudden you try to watch people stranded on a deserted island, it's like, oh, this feels like the same old, same old. So it Send Help was hampered by me watching Lost right before it. So yeah, here's the big siege. I dig all this like they got the old tree uh carved into a big point battering ram and they're like trying to run into the side of the castle and they're doing all the whole thing where they're, protecting the walls and pouring oil on them and everything. But yes, I agree, Ben. Asking Sam Raimi not to do Sam Raimi stuff defeats the purpose. One of his only movies I haven't seen is that Oz, Great and Powerful, or Return to Oz, or whatever the hell it was. Return to Oz, right? The one with James Franco. But I've seen bits and pieces of it, like little clips here and there, and it's like, yeah, it looks like Sam Raimi stuff, like just the split imagery, stuff in the foreground, background, being real like innovative and daring with like his editing and his using miniatures and all of it, all the tricks up the sleeve. That was one of the things I didn't like about Send Help when I said I wasn't, it was good, it was watchable, and it was for sure entertaining and fun, but it reminded me like a weird mashup of a bunch of movies I'd seen before. Swept Away with Madonna, um, uh, which is a remake of some Italian movie I never saw. Sorry, in the middle of our discussion here, I'm watching a bunch of skeletons, stop motion skeletons at that, attack a castle. So it's hard to just maintain not like awe the entire time I'm speaking. Captions say mouth agape. Um, yeah, the thing I like about Raimi is that he's Raimi. I imagine Send Help to me in another like 4 years or something. I'll watch it and be like, okay, yeah, I enjoy it now more. But the polished CGI help that he never had before, that he's embraced more now doing the Marvel stuff, it I don't know. I don't know if it works as well. Like I like the bad fakeness of some of his stuff. That's what helps. Would Dumb and Dumber be a good dark ride? Yeah, maybe like Serial Killer Brothers. I would be with him. Hey there, Ben. If Larry Bird didn't hurt his back, he'd be good for an action movie. I don't know. He's such a like quiet hick, and like he strangely didn't like media. I don't know. He didn't like the attention. He Magic sought it out, but Bird didn't. That was the difference in him, kind of. The Tourette's movie, I swear, is the best of the year. I heard you mention that another stream we did. You said it was really good. I'll have to check that out. Favorite last character? Oh boy. Uh, I don't know. I'll think about it. Who's your favorite last character? Put it in the chat or the comments. I'll think about it when I'm running through it. Probably old girl from the first Texas Chainsaw, because she's the queen of just being tortured right up to the last second, and then once she defeats everybody, she gets away and runs away like I beat you, and that feeling of like she escaped, even though she is traumatized for life. But Laurie Strode is kind of the main one everybody thinks about. Um, I think she's sort of the classic template. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. We have approximately 20 minutes left in this movie. Hey, there's Tim Quill again. Shout out to the blacksmith. Shout out to Tim's everywhere. Oh, wait a minute. Bill Moseley had a fun story where he talked about hanging out with Paris Hilton while they were shooting Repo in Canada. He said she took them to a club opening and found out she made more in that. Yeah, I never saw Repo. It's a opera, right? It's like a movie about the future. There was a couple of movies that came out around that time about how the cost of healthcare had gotten so insane that eventually they were going to have to like repo people's limbs and organs, and they were trying to like kill people to steal organs for whatever. So that was like a real concern there with healthcare issues, and that plot turned up a while. But this one was a musical or a rock opera or whatever you want to call it. I've never seen it. I always kind of wanted to because some of the clips look fascinating. I should do a double feature sometime of Repo and Cats. Yes, I like these. Evil Dead Burn was great. I saw it at CinemaCon. Oh, you liked it? Okay, so there's a +4 right now. Most people are the early reviews of it that are coming out. People enjoy it, so I'm imagining it'll probably get a decent following. Um, Evil Dead Rise, people didn't like it when it came out. Like I said, I'm one of the few people who enjoyed it, but I had the perfect experience to enjoy it. Other folks, yeah, they just kind of thought it was derivative and sort of watered down, especially after 2013's heavy duty, you know, gore fest. The 2013 one is like how my child like mind imagined what was going on in part one when I first saw the original Evil Dead, all the terror and stuff. When I got older and looked at it, it's like, okay, there's really not so much to be scared of. So the stuff with the vines pulling the woman and all that, and the pencil in the ankle. Um, club opening 2 hours, then he made being the star of the movie. Favorite lost character? Oh, okay, that one too. Probably John Locke or Jack. We are Matthew Fox or Terry O'Quinn, I should say. Hurley is also pretty awesome. But after we're finished watching Lost, we went back at I don't know, after about 3 or 4 weeks had passed. We watched The Stepfather, and she was like, "Oh shit, it's John Locke!" As soon as he came on, and then we watched Bone Tomahawk with Matthew Fox. So did I say Matthew Perry before? No, whatever. Matthew Fox, the dude. I don't know. Party of Five. What do you know Matthew Fox from? But um, he was also in some damn like Secret Service movie, I want to say, with like Kiefer Sutherland and maybe Julia Roberts. I don't remember. Probably Sawyer. Yeah, Sawyer. He kind of stole the show. He was Han Solo. The leader of the skeletons looks like a member of Guar, right? I've always thought that too. That whenever I see the pictures of Guar on stage, it's like, yeah, it looks like the old boy from Army of Darkness. Love the film Repo, but didn't know it was Canadian. Yeah, I don't think I've ever. Like I said, I still need to see it. Gareth watching Murder She Wrote. Oh, well, then he's got great taste because Angela Lansbury kicks ass. Um, I love those old people detective shows. You know, the Matlock, Murder She Wrote, even Columbo towards the end there kind of got, you know, they miss, they underestimate me because I'm old. Let me show you whippersnappers a few thing or two. You know, if you're trying to get a good TV audience to watch your show regularly, old folks probably are pretty regular viewers if you make a good series. So have a show where an older person is smarter than younger people and nobody can get stuff over on them. That's a guaranteed winner. So now here they're having the siege on the castle on the inside. As I mentioned, this is a weird one. It's more action, fantasy, adventure than it is horror, but the horror elements are all very like right now, this evil witch that jumps on his back and is riding him around. This she looks like I said, the woman on the cover of Night of the Demons. Once again, classic Raimi stuff. We see them fighting on the bridge or the overlook of the castle, but you can see the fighting down below is like a green screen, but real cheap. You know, it's composited poorly, so you can see the set up front and then almost the movie playing in back. Might even be rear projection. See the different chroma key is when you have a green screen and then you get rid of the green screen and you add whatever, right? Rear projections when you put a movie screen behind somebody and you just straight up show the movie behind them. So it's obviously a different look visually. Usually, rear projection looks kind of weird. Um, our mom liked watching Murder She Wrote. I enjoy Murder She Wrote. You can't go wrong with it. I really liked Caddyshack too. You take that back. I actually because it's the slow time of the year with sports. It's like the NBA off season, so all the news is about signings, signings of players, and foot. The NFL hasn't started yet, and it's baseball's middle of the season where the games barely matter. So they have nothing to talk about in the sports world. So earlier today, I was listening to sports talk radio, and they were discussing best second films ever. And somebody like offered Caddyshack 2 as one of the best second films ever. And the dude on the show just lost his damn mind. I don't know if it's worth that. Jackie Mason's pretty funny, but the Dan Aykroyd character is just terrible. And Jonathan Silverman's weird in that. Is that his name? The guy with the hair? The guy from uh, Weekend at Bernie's? Mm, Ben said was Lost. Yeah, I enjoy Lost. It's awesome. But the sequel sucked. Sequel was that. Oh, Murder She Wrote had a sequel. New spinoff, Murder Gareth Wrote. I'll watch it. Paula Fitzhenry. Hi, Paula. Nice to see you. Paula always super cool. Um, Hi, Paula. Love. Yeah, Paula cool. I like when Paula hangs out. She always it's a blessing when she drops in. It gives the stream a nice a well wishing, a prayer over the proceedings. Sheesh. It is 3:20 in the morning, and I'm half a beer in. I better hurry up. This movie's finishing. We've been in the last, like, the final act of this. I've never realized the pacing of it. I always think of it's like he gets there and then he goes on the mission, screws it up, the army of dead comes, whatever. But that is really the acts. Like the first act is just him getting there. We established the medieval times. The second middle part is just the screw up. And then the third act is just one long battle that's been going on for like 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes, probably like 20. So now the leader of Guar is back and his face is completely gone. Um, for those of you who are fans of the Evil Dead movies, especially younger folks, um, the old DVDs and laser discs and stuff of this movie, first the first three, the Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, have some of the best audio commentaries in movie history. It's like Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Rob Tappert, and I can't remember who else is there. But they just like make the dumbest, silliest jokes and they like rag on each other and they like set each other up for bits. And, occasionally they'll give some important film information about how they did a weird shot or how long it take to do whatever. But it's mostly just friends hanging out and they're so funny and entertaining. It's like, it's better than any podcast. So yeah, I recommend any of the physical media versions of them because a lot of the different editions of Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness especially, they have like different commentary tracks. They a lot of times Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell seem to have no problem wanting to shoot extra ones or do extra ones. M. Beth Davidson Fracture. Yeah, I barely remember Fracture. I remember M. Beth Davidson off and on. Like whenever I see her in this, I'm like, I can't put my finger on her. And then I was like, oh yeah, I see other stuff with her name pop up because her name's more memorable. Um, Larry Nance going to Pacers. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Unfortunately, um, he was in Cleveland, but the coach never used him because of the way they run their defense and or whatever analytics nonsense. So they weren't really using him that much there, but I was hoping since maybe LeBron is going to come back that him and LeBron would team up because they went to the finals last time LeBron and Larry Jr. both played on the Cavs. That was the famous one where stupid J.R. Smith forgot how much seconds were left in the clock and everything. So here he's reunited. He's got his woman back. The skeleton reminds us of Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. It's all about the Harryhausen tribute stuff. I think, someone like young Sam Raimi watched all those movies and they just like, I want him to do that. That's what happens with a lot of stuff. People grow up watching stuff and the tricks for filmmaking and the language of film, as it were, the way stuff is presented and how the mind interprets it and all of that. um, one generation watches the other generation's movies and they want to do a thing like that. So you get a lot of derivative stuff or people reusing shots their way. And a lot of the modern generation, they reuse shots, but they use it for almost the exact same way. So a lot of new movies I watch, I'll get frustrated. Like, that's just the shot from movie X, and they're just using it the exact same way as they did the first time. There's no new anything here. You can never say that about Army of Darkness or any Sam Raimi movie. There's all sorts of craziness in this. So we have defeated the Deadites. The two warring factions have decided to team up and everything's okay. There's a truce. Now he's going to say Klaatu Barada Nikto or Nikto as like the day the earth stood still. We've got 8 minutes left at 3:30 in the morning. What about Evil Dead Burn? Are you guys going to see it in the theater this weekend, or that's something you're going to wait for streaming for? I'll probably wait for streaming on it around Halloween time. I bet it'll be out on probably Max. They own all these movies. Ooh, HD problems. Original before movies were how do I reword this? When they were on DVD and VHS and stuff, they weren't that crisp and clear. So the only time you really ever saw a really great copy of a movie is up on the big screen. So when HD came out and you could actually see things smaller but in great clarity, excuse me, you could see things in great clarity. Like there, you can see the makeup on his face. But at the time, they thought the cameras, this will never be presented in a resolution so good that you can see the makeup on his cheeks. So there he rides off into the sunset. Then he's back at S Mart. And he's explaining to Ted Raimi that I think it was Ivan Raimi before, and this is Ted Raimi here. Sam Raimi's brothers obviously turn up in a lot of his stuff. Is it Ted who's actually like a doctor also? So here's the last final shots of the scene or the movie. He's working at S Mart. He's putting stuff away and stocking shelves. and the evil comes find him. It's basically the lead into Ash versus Evil Dead, the series. Um, now evil is basically haunting Ash, the Deadite Necronomicon curse. Lady, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store. And I like that he's back working at S-Mart, but he's got this metal hand, and no one cares. There's like, yeah, whatever, go stock the shelves, buddy. This is one of the most ridiculous, like Fast and the Furious. I can't believe anyone would think this is a good idea, but it looks funny on film. He's standing on the counter of the checkout counter, and he's holding the shotgun, the boomstick. And he throws it up into the air, and it spins around all crazy like a boomerang. And then he jumps on a stocking cart and rides it like a skateboard. And then he grabs the gun out of the air and starts firing it like Wyatt Earp and shit. Once again, I mean, the movie is full of just hero shots. The way it is shot and the way it is told is intended to lift up Bruce Campbell so you can tolerate his awfulness as a human being. So here he's fully fought off a deadite at S-Mart, and he pulls off his smock, and he's got his classic blue Ash shirt. Sorry, I didn't have one darker. Um, and he says, "I am king," and he smooches the chick. "Hail to the king, baby." My favorite in this one is, "Give me some sugar." And we fade out on the makeout. You can't go wrong with Army of Darkness. You can't go wrong with Evil Dead. Speaking of can't go wrong, Evil Dead, the plan is to try to watch the other two, or at least one of the two, sometime this week. So be sure to hang out and watch subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out late at night. I'll probably be here watching something. If you see Evil Dead Burn and you see me on, be sure to jump in the stream and let me know what you thought of it. If you got thoughts on Evil Dead in general, for sure to put them just in the comments. Other than that, go through the description. Make sure to buy yourself some shirts and PayPal donations and whatever else you want to do to help me out as a person. I would appreciate it. And I thank you most of all for. Sorry, I'm showing a little bit of. Sorry about that. I'm showing a little hair. But beyond that, I'm going to wrap this up and call it a night. I hope all of you have a groovy evening, and I hope to be seeing you soon. And I wish all of you green grass and high tides forever. Adios, amigos.